There's a structure on the moon that defies explanation. It sits in eternal darkness, hidden from Earth's view for 4 billion years. When China's rover photographed it in 2022, scientists couldn't believe what they were seeing. A cube-shaped object, perfectly geometric, standing alone on the lunar surface. Mission Control ordered an immediate course change. The rover spent weeks crawling across treacherous terrain to reach it, and what they discovered challenges everything we thought we knew about the moon's history. And when it finally arrived, the truth was even stranger than anyone expected. But this story doesn't start with a mystery hut. It starts with a place that shouldn't exist. The moon has a secret side, not dark in the way you might think. It receives just as much sunlight as the side we see from Earth, but it's been hidden from human eyes since the beginning of time itself. The moon is tidally locked, meaning the same hemisphere always faces Earth. The other half, the far side, remains perpetually turned away. For all of human history, we could only imagine what existed there. Ancient astronomers assumed both sides looked identical. They were wrong, dead wrong. When Soviet spacecraft first photographed the far side in 1959, scientists were shocked. The two hemispheres looked nothing alike. The near side is covered with dark volcanic plains called Maria. The far side is a nightmare landscape of endless craters, towering mountains, and almost no volcanic features at all. It's as if two different moons were somehow fused together. But here's the really disturbing part. Nobody knows why. We've had over 60 years to figure this out, and we still don't have a definitive answer. The moon is hiding something, and that secret might be buried on the far side. Landing there is nearly impossible. Not because of the terrain, though that's treacherous enough. It's because of physics. When you're on the far side, the entire mass of the moon sits between you and Earth. Radio signals can't penetrate thousands of kilometers of solid rock. You're completely cut off. If something goes wrong, there's no one to help. No way to communicate. Your spacecraft becomes a tomb. The Apollo program knew this. Engineers designed missions to the far side, drew up detailed plans, even selected landing sites. But in the end, NASA decided the risk was too high. Between 1969 and 1972, all 6 Apollo landings occurred on the near side where communication was guaranteed. The far side remained untouched, unexplored, unknown. China cracked the problem with an elegant solution. They launched a relay satellite called Kuekiao to a point in space where Earth's gravity and the moon's gravity cancel out perfectly. This Lagrange point sits 65,000 kilometers beyond the moon, allowing the satellite to see both Earth and the far side simultaneously. Think of it as a cosmic mirror, bouncing signals around the moon's edge. Simple in concept, extraordinarily difficult in practice. On January 3, 2019, the Chang'e 4 lander touched down on the far side, humanity's first contact with the hidden hemisphere. The landing site was chosen with surgical precision, the von Karman crater, located deep inside the South Pole Aitken Basin. And that's where things get truly weird. The South Pole Aitken Basin is not just a crater, it's a scar. The largest impact wound in the entire solar system. Picture an impact so violent, it punched 2,500 kilometers across the lunar surface and drove 8 kilometers deep. The object that created this devastation was the size of a small planet. When it hit 4 billion years ago, the collision likely punched completely through the moon's crust and into the mantle below. Imagine the force required to do that. Imagine the heat. The shock wave probably rang the moon like a bell. But here's what keeps scientists awake at night. There's something buried beneath that impact site. Something massive. Something that shouldn't be there. In 2019, researchers discovered a gravitational anomaly deep below the basin floor. The measurements showed excess mass equivalent to a pile of metal 5 times larger than the big island of Hawaii buried underground. This thing is so dense, it's actually pulling the crater floor downward by over half a mile. Gravity itself is being warped by whatever's down there. 2 theories attempt to explain this. First theory: it's the iron core of the asteroid that created the basin, still embedded in the moon's mantle after 4 billion years. The impact was so fast, so violent, that the asteroid's core punched through the crust. From beneath the surface during an ancient impact. Its cubic appearance was purely coincidental, the result of natural fracturing and erosion over billions of years. The Internet's hopes for alien architecture collapsed, but while everyone focused on the boulder itself, very few people noticed what U-22 found lying nearby. 2 perfect glass spheres, translucent as crystal, sitting on the lunar surface like marbles dropped by a giant hand. This discovery was genuinely extraordinary. Glass exists all over the moon, created when meteorite impacts superheat rock into molten spray that cools rapidly in space. But this glass was different. You could see through it. It was clear, pure, perfectly formed. Nothing like this had ever been documented on the Moon before. Chemical analysis revealed the spheres were made from anorthosite, a common lunar rock. But during certain types of impacts, under precise conditions of temperature and pressure, anorthosite can melt and reform into high-quality, transparent glass. The discovery proved that future lunar colonists could manufacture windows, lenses, and solar panel components using nothing but local materials. No need to transport glass from Earth at astronomical cost. But the real bombshells came from what U-2 detected in the soil itself. The rover's instruments found something that challenged everything we thought we knew about the Moon. Natural graphene, carbon nanotubes, materials so advanced we only learned to synthesize them in laboratories within the past few decades. Yet here they were, naturally formed on the lunar surface billions of years ago. Graphene is a single layer of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal lattice. It's the strongest material ever tested, conducts electricity better than copper, and is essentially two-dimensional. Scientists won the Nobel Prize just for figuring out how to create it. Now we know nature was making it on the Moon long before humans even existed. The discovery shattered a fundamental assumption. For decades, scientists believed the Moon was carbon depleted. Apollo samples showed minimal carbon content. This made sense under the giant impact hypothesis, the prevailing theory of lunar formation. According to this theory, the Moon formed when a Mars-sized object called Theia slammed into early Earth 4.5 Theia collide with Earth? Why would two neighboring planets suddenly crash together? The most likely explanation involves gravitational chaos in the early solar system. Theia probably formed at a stable Lagrange point in Earth's orbit, similar to where the Kuekiao satellite sits now. But Lagrange points are only stable below a certain mass threshold. As Theia grew larger, gravitational perturbations from Jupiter and other planets would have destabilized its orbit, sending it spiraling toward Earth in a collision that was simultaneously catastrophic and creative. That collision created the Moon. It tilted Earth's axis, giving us seasons. It sped up Earth's rotation. It may have created the conditions necessary for life itself. And now, 4.5 billion years later, we're finally beginning to understand what really happened. The South Pole Aitken Basin might hold the final answers. If that ancient impact excavated mantle material from 200 kilometers deep, analyzing those rocks could reveal the Moon's interior composition with unprecedented detail. It could show whether the Moon formed hot or cold, whether it ever generated a magnetic field, and when that field disappeared. China's exploration continues. Chang'e 7 launches in 2026, targeting the lunar South Pole to search for water ice. Chang'e 8 follows in 2028, testing technologies for building structures from lunar materials. The goal is clear: establish a permanent human presence on the Moon within the next decade. They're not alone in this race. NASA's Artemis program aims to land humans on the Moon by 2026. The European Space Agency, Russia, Japan, and India all have missions planned. The far side, hidden from humanity for all of history, is about to become one of the most visited places in the solar system. What China found on the Moon's dark side wasn't aliens or ancient civilizations. It was something more profound and more unsettling. Evidence that the Moon is still surprising us, still hiding secrets, still changing our understanding of how worlds form and evolve. The mystery hut turned out to be a rock, but the real mysteries are just beginning to emerge. A massive buried anomaly that warps gravity. Natural, advanced materials forming through cosmic processes. Ancient volcanic activity where none should exist. Isotopic signatures that challenge our formation theories. The far side is no longer dark. We've pierced the veil, landed on its surface, analyzed its soil, and brought pieces home. But every answer reveals deeper questions. What exactly lies beneath the South Pole Aitken Basin? Why are the Moon's two hemispheres so radically different? How much indigenous carbon really exists? What other materials are waiting to be discovered? The Moon is 380,000 kilometers away, yet we've barely scratched its surface. The greatest discoveries are still waiting in the darkness, and China is leading the charge to find them. The mystery hut was just the beginning. The real mystery is the Moon itself, and we're only now learning to ask the right questions.